Tick-tock, time to rock. We've got Anime Comic Geek Studio says, I'm kind of sad they're not on yet. I think we are on. Yes, we're on. I see my face. All right, so we're here. So good evening to everyone. I should include good morning and good afternoon because people are tuning in from all around the world. I am your friendly neighborhood philosopher, David Wood, and with me, by popular demand, is the man who makes Muhammad's bones shake in their grave. It's the Christian Prince. How you doing, Christian Prince?
I'm fine, thank you, David. And before we start, I want to say thank you for inviting me. And I'm so glad to be, finally speaking to you and having all those who are, they wanted this to happen. It's happening. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Oh yeah, there were people have been telling me to have you on for months. I'm just not good at contacting new people, but here we are now. All right, so we're going to be taking some questions and comments from everyone in the chat here once we get going. But there may be people here who aren't familiar with you, aren't familiar with your work. So in order to help them get to know you a bit better, why don't you share a little bit about where you grew up, your background, and everyone who's watching, while he's doing that, be sure to wage jihad on that like button and share the link on social media.
I am an Arab. I speak Arabic. Arabic is my first language. And I studied Islam. I have a degree in the Islamic law. My study is not the reason really I know. The reason I know is because I study hard, so I can answer the Muslims. And I don't know much. I mean, the rest about me is what people know, like I do.
Mm-hmm. So you have a degree, you said, in Islamic law?
Yes.
Why on earth would a Christian want to get a degree in Islamic law?
When I was very young, like always, you go to church, nobody want to talk about Islam. You speak to your friends, nobody want to talk about Islam. And the Muslims always, they challenge us, and there's nobody to answer them. So I decided to study so I can learn really what Islam is about. In the same time, I can take a stand for my belief, and that's what I did exactly, which is actually against the will of my family,
mm-hmm.
because they wanted me to study something useful, not something stupid,
Mm-hmm.
Because for them they are Christians, and studying Islam is a waste of time. It's not worth it, and it is, it's not a good thing. And I agree with them, But always good things can happen from bad things.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I wanted to ask you a couple questions about your approach. The kind of two issues here. I hear from Christians. I hear from Christians all the time. And guys, those who are asking to adjust the bass and stuff like that. No, there's not. We've started. There's I can adjust the volume. That's about all we can do here. So just got to live with it. Any changes have to make at a different time. Christian Prince, I hear from Christians all the time, and you're a perfect person to answer since you're the Christian Prince. I hear from Christians who say that when you're interacting with Muslims, you shouldn't criticize Muhammad or the Quran. This is just going to drive Muslims away. They're not going to listen to anything you say. And so you just focus on sharing the gospel with them, just present Jesus. Don't criticize their position or they're never going to listen to you. That's obviously not your approach. So what do you think of that?
Me, I am a Middle Eastern, so I understand the nature of the Middle East. And the nature of people there is totally different from what people think. And maybe what you are saying can be, valid for those who they are American, who they are born in America. Arab, Middle Eastern Muslims, if you are too much nice, they think you are weak. They play the game of intimidation. It's not really about the way you approach them You see, even the Quran says that Allah, He made us to be humiliated. So when a Muslim, he speaks to you and you are so kind to the point you don't even, you won't, like people, they say, well, you are rude. I'm not rude, I'm just being truthful as it is. Same time, the Quran told the Muslims that Allah, He cursed us and He made us people of humiliation, which means in Arabic it says ضربت عليهم الذلة. If you go to chapter 3 verse 12, 112, it says that Allah, He made us people who they are nice to humiliate us, not because we are nice. So the Muslims, they have different understanding for your kindness. Maybe you are trying to be kind because you are a Christian, but for a Muslim, you make him believe that Allah is saying the truth in chapter 3 verse 112, because He cursed us and He made us nice to be humiliated. So I am not nice with somebody who don't believe in being nice. And if somebody saying to me all kind of things, why I cannot say all kind of things to him too? And why I have to speak in a way some people want me to speak in? This is the way it should be. You know, even the Lord, the Messiah, He says either yea, yea, or nay, nay, be truthful. So, you know, no political correctness. The Messiah Himself, He was not politically correct, and He spoke to the Jews in many ways, and many of them, they are harsh. So being harsh, not because I hate the Muslims, I never hate the Muslims, but being harsh because the religion, the topic is harsh itself, and the nature of this religion is harsh too.
Now, so you're pointing out, one, given the group that Muslims tend to not listen to you unless you're. So, in other words, it's kind of the opposite of what many Western Christians think, right? They somehow have come to conclude that if you're aggressive with Muslims, Muslims aren't going to listen to you. You're saying it's actually the opposite. If you don't have an aggressive approach, they're not going to listen to you.
You see, in the Middle East, the one who shouts louder is the one who his voice is heard. So I know where I'm coming from. I know the culture. I know the nature. And, you know, everybody, you know, anyway, for me, I am very successful. I have, you know, a lot of people who live Islam. So if the way I'm doing it is not right, then how you can explain people leaving Islam left and right? So obviously it's working, it's good. And I, you know, I don't insult people. I just say things as it is. I mean, your prophet is a false prophet. What's wrong with that? I mean, what I should say? I should say to him, your prophet is a good prophet when he's not. So I approach in a way which is go straight to the point.
So you've mentioned a couple of times, and people have been pointing out in the chat that lots of Muslims, contrary to what many Christians in the West believe, lots of Muslims do listen to you and they leave Islam, and many of them become Christians. So what kind of results have you seen over the years?
Actually, I can say to you
Oh, wait. Hey, well, you just got your sound got much more clear.
All right, that's good.
Did you plug in the mic?
I changed the microphone from my side, actually. Maybe this is what was a switch.
Oh yeah, that's perfectly clear now, guys. Does that sound better? Yeah, there were people. Yeah, perfectly clear now. All right.
All right. You see, I have in the last few months, I don't know how many. I cannot even count how many people left Islam. And you know, I don't change the way I talk. This is the way I talk. This is the way I mean, even when I speak to Christians, I mean, if somebody he says something I don't like, I speak. This is how I am. I am not someone else. This is how I am. And who like it, who don't like it, it's up to him. I mean, what I can do. I mean, you don't like it, don't listen to me.
Yeah, and I have to say, it's especially when I think about people in the Middle East, right? Assyrians. The Copts in Egypt, the Christians in Pakistan. When I think what they have gone through historically due to Islam, if the biggest criticism you can say is, guys, you're being too harsh when you're criticizing this ideology that has been oppressing your people for centuries. That's kind of a as someone who lives in America, I just don't think it's my place to tell people who come from that sort of background how they should be talking about Islam.
You see, David, you did just a few, maybe a month or 6 weeks ago, you debated a guy, his name is Mimi Hijab. And you saw how he was trying all his best just to humiliate and to insult, but not to debate.
Yep.
The reason, for him, you are too nice because you are not coming from the same background. For him, humiliation is a way of winning. It's not he wanna make fun, even though he is saying stupid things, even though he said the most stupid things ever, which is against Islam. I mean, he not only he lost the debate, he looked like an idiot in the village. So yet he think by making fun he is the winner. So this is a culture thing. This is a mentality. This is a mindset. If you don't understand them, you will not even able to go through their mind. They grow this way, and they think if you are kind, that's mean you are weak, and if you are very gentle and you are not rude, that's mean you don't you are afraid. This is how they see it. For me, I am from there. I know how to speak to them. Actually, this is why they don't want to get close to me.
Yep. Yeah, and it's interesting. For that debate, they made me agree ahead of time that I would be very nice and not be insulting at all, and be very friendly the entire time. And so it seems they understand as well that if you can get the Christian debater to be nice the entire time, and the Muslim to be insulting, yes, there are Westerners who will watch that and think, oh, this why is this guy being so insulting? But lots of Muslims, boy, they love it. Now, we're going to take some questions here in a minute. I had two questions just on the Arabic, since you're a native Arabic speaker. Not anything specific, but basically here's the idea. The main argument that the Quran gives for its divine inspiration is what I call the argument the argument from literary excellence, meaning that it's just so amazingly written that it has to come from God. But I read the Quran a lot, and I just think it's the most horrible book that I've ever read. I would literally rather read a phone book than read the Quran. I do read the Quran because, I have to interact with Muslims. But if I were just picking something that I want to read, I would actually pick a phone book before I would read the Quran. It's organized horribly. It jumps around from topic to topic. You can't make sense of anything it's saying. I mean, at least a phone book is organized. And all these calls for violence and so on. But I'm told by Muslims that this is only because I'm reading it in English. If I were to read it in Arabic, then I would see that it's clearly miraculous, the greatest book, so great that human beings couldn't have written it. So when you read the Quran in Arabic, how do you resist the power of the Quran to compel you to believe that it is the Word of God?
The answer is from the Quran. If you go to chapter 8, verse number 31, the Arab, they were making fun of the Quran, saying this is the fairy tales of the elders. And if we wish, we can make even better than this. Everybody can go and read it. This is a book full of mistakes in Arabic, in the grammar, in the spelling, in the pronunciation. And, they fabricate tons of story. Here we go. We are the Arab Christian. Why we are not amazed? I mean, if Muhammad, he was able to make people to convert to Islam by just hearing the Quran, so why did they not convert? Why Muhammad, he went in war? Here we go. They are Arab in his time, and they were making fun of the Quran. So if you go in the Quran, you will find the word fairy tale mentioned 9 times. The Arab, they say to Muhammad, this is fairy tale and this is stupid. And then Muhammad, he says, well, it's stupid. Can you make something like it? And this is a stupid challenge. I mean, I'm just saying to you, this is stupid. You say to me, can you make some stupid like mine? So Muhammad, he did not succeed in the Arabic. The Arabic is a stupid language, the way he used it. And he was, the Arabic in the Quran is a crook Arabic, is not correct Arabic. And if you want to talk about a book of wisdom, I don't know if you can open chapter 24, verse number 61 and read to the audience. And they will be astonished about how stupid this book is. I mean, this is a God who speak and he teach and he squeeze his head and he send an angel with a message from thousands and millions of miles away. Remember where Allah, God knows where Allah is. And now he come to us to say to us, you can eat alone and you can eat in your home and you can eat with your sister and you can eat in the house of your mother. Anybody can read the verse, chapter 24, verse number 61.
Want me to go ahead and read it for everyone?
Go ahead.
All right. So this is the greatest book ever written that can only be written by God, everyone. There is no blame on the blind man, nor is there blame on the lame, nor is there blame on the sick, nor on yourselves, that you eat from your houses, or your father's houses, or your mother's houses, or your brother's houses, or your sister's houses, or your paternal uncle's houses, or your paternal aunt's houses, or your maternal uncle's houses, or your maternal aunt's houses, or what you possess the keys of, or your friends' houses. It is no sin in you that you eat together or separately. So when you enter houses, greet your people with a salutation from Allah, blessed and goodly. Thus does Allah make clear to you the communications that you may understand. And I think everyone in the chat is ready to recite the Shahada if they haven't already, because that is so masterfully written.
I mean, that's it. I mean, it's no sin on you, no sin. I mean, imagine he's saying no sin if you eat alone or if you eat with somebody else. I mean, this is madness, it's stupid. So he sent an angel of God, and he written in a book of wisdom to teach us to say, if you are blind, you can eat at home. Where the blind used to eat where before? I mean, in the time of Muhammad, there's no restaurants. Where do you want to eat? You are blind, you cannot walk, or you are sick. And even if you are not any of those, still you can eat at home. I mean, look at the news. So Muhammad, he came to us with something beyond intelligence. It's like super. And then he says to us, you can eat in the house of your mother. Finally, I want to call my mother and tell her, hey, mom, I can eat in your house. She will say to me, idiot, you are eating in my house all your life. So what is this about? This is silly. This is stupid.
So you brought up a couple points there, but basically what I hear from Muslims is, you know, if you just read the Quran in Arabic, you'll find out that it is the word of Allah, and true Arabic speakers will recognize that. You're pointing out that even according to the Quran, people of Muhammad's time, all of whom were Arabic speakers, they thought the Quran was a big joke.
Well, all of them, and actually Muhammad, he don't even have a book. You see, if you go and read the book of the Quran, you know, if you go to the Bible, you know, you want to search where God, how he created things, you go to the book of Genesis. Mm-hmm. Where in the Quran we can find how God created the whole earth and heaven. It's all over. It's like somebody, he put a bunch of papers in the front of a fan, big fan, and he turned it on. And then we collect them together and we make a book. So nothing there makes sense. And then, you know, if you go in the Quran, you will find things because of this madness. The Quran says that today, as an example, in chapter 3, verse number 7, today I completed your religion for you, accepted Islam for you. And then why? You know, because we make you, you know, like not to eat pigs, not to eat pork. Mm-hmm. So when the Quran speak about religion, then we will find, you know, like, I mean, I don't know how to explain to you. I wish everybody can, you know, speak Arabic, because you will die laughing from the stupidity of this Arabic. Mm-hmm. If we go in the Quran, as an example, in chapter 3, verse number 85, it says, the one who accepts other than Islam, Allah will not accept from him. And then Allah, in the same chapter, he says to us that the Christians and the Jews and the Sabian, they will go to heaven. Then, but why you call them Christians, and why you call them Sabian, and why you call them Jews if they are Muslims? This is stupid. If you go to chapter 5, verse number 3, it says that Allah, he forbid for you, etc., 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 etc. And then he said, today I completed my favor upon you and choosing Islam as religion for you. But this is the chapter 5, verse number 3. It is in the beginning of the Quran. This verse can be accurate if this is at the last verse in the Quran. Like Jesus in the cross says it's complete. Here, it says complete in the beginning of the Quran. How we can solve this problem? This problem can be solved easy by saying, okay, the one who made the book, he took this verse, he put it here, but it should be at the end of the book. And yet the Muslims, they say to us that this is the book of Allah. If Muhammad said this verse in the beginning, that means all the chapter after chapter 5, verse number 3 are fabricated. Because he just said, I don't know if you can read it for us, David. Mm-hmm. Chapter 5, verse 3, if you can read it, so people, they can see. I mean, this is crazy. How he complete the religion for them, accepted Islam for them. I complete my favor upon you.
Mm-hmm. Ready? Chapter 5, verse 3. Forbidden to you is that which dies of itself, and blood, and flesh of swine, and that on which any other name than that of Allah has been invoked, and the strangled, and that beaten to death, and that killed by a fall, and that killed by being smitten with the horn, and that which wild beasts have eaten, except what you slaughter, and what is sacrificed on stones set up for idols, and that you divide by the arrows, that is a transgression. This day have those who disbelieve despaired of your religion, so fear them not, and fear me. This day have I perfected for you your religion, and completed my favor on you, and chosen for you Islam as a religion. But whoever is compelled by hunger, not inclining willfully to sin, then surely Allah is forgiving, merciful. I'm sure there are here more people, even more people, ready to recite the Shahada after hearing that.
So he completed his favor upon them by saying to them, you cannot eat pork. That's it. Islam is complete now. So all those the chapters after, and here you notice, I don't know if you noticed with me, David, that in the same verse at the end it says, after all what he forbade, if you are hungry, still you can eat all of those, which means you can eat pork. Even pork you can eat. But then we find this is a contradiction for chapter 2, verse number 65. Isn't it Allah who cursed the Jews and he made them pigs and monkeys because they broke the Sabbath? Why they broke the Sabbath? Because they are hungry. Because Allah, he made this fish only appear in the Sabbath. So those people, if they are hungry, they are not allowed. But if the Muslims are hungry, they can eat pork.
Yeah, I've never actually made a video on that one. I might have to knock out a video on on that contradiction there. One more question, then we'll turn it over to chat here. Along the same lines, one of the other things that Muslims say, because one of the main arguments that they give, thanks to Ahmed Deedat and Zakir Naik, is the amazing scientific insights of the Quran, that Muhammad knew things that no one at the time could have known and that weren't discovered until centuries later, and scientists are still marveling at the amazing scientific accuracy of the Quran even today. I sit here and I read the Quran and it looks like a scientific catastrophe. It looked like if you were to invent the most ridiculous picture of the universe that you could possibly come up with, that's what Muhammad believed about the universe. If you could come up with the silliest theories about human reproduction that you could possibly come up with, that's what Muhammad believed about human reproduction. But what I hear from my Muslim friends is, in the Arabic, you find that everything is correct, that it's amazing and has all these scientific insights. Since you read the sources in Arabic, would you agree with the Muslims that their sources are filled with amazing scientific insights that prove that Islam is true?
The Quran is the most stupid book ever I saw all my life, and I challenge any Muslim to prove me wrong. The God of Islam even don't remember which one he created first, the trees or the stars. Have you ever heard of a maker? He says something in one verse, he said the opposite in different verse. The Quran do not know even how the baby is created. He says that the baby, he was a sperm and then he became a congealed blood, which is funny because the sperm was a sperm and then it became a congealed blood. Muhammad, he explained, and he says that the sperm stay inside the mother for 50 days. Have you ever heard of a science like this? But the Muslims, the problem is when the Muslims, they try to make the Quran as a scientific book, they fabricate the translation, they change the meaning to make it fit with science. As an example, when the Quran says Allah, he made the sperm into a congealed blood, the Muslims, they say in many translation, you were a sperm and then you became a clot. But this is not true. It doesn't say that. It says the sperm became a clot. If you go in Sahih al-Bukhari as an example, Muhammad, he says in hadith number 2644, he said that the semen remain in the womb of the women for 40 or 50 days, and this is authentic hadith. So this is the science of Muhammad, claiming that semen can live for 50 days. Science says maximum 5 days. So that's the correct. Only mistake is only a 0.
Yep. That is correct, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. In other words, if you go to your biology class and you ask your biology teacher or professor, how long can a sperm survive, you'll hear maximum 5 to 7 days. Not so, according to Muhammad. So if you're a Muslim, you could spend a lot of time. You could spend a lot of time correcting your teachers and professors. All right, Christian Prince. We'll be talking more about the Muslim sources and what the Quran says. Wanted to ask you a little bit about. You seem to have a lot of problem with your videos getting taken down and things like that. There's a comment over here by Guy777 that'll kind of. I'll reply to this real quick and then get your comments because. There is an issue with censoring critics of Islam. Now, Guy777 here says, so I'm a Christian and got banned for criticism of Catholic doctrine, but you guys criticize Islam for a living. Why ban me? Well, no one's stopping you from talking about Catholic doctrine, Guy777. No one's stopping you from talking about Protestants, Orthodox, Catholics, anything. When we have a topic and we're going to be addressing something, if we're going to be discussing the interaction between Islam and Christianity, there always seems to be a small group of people who want to divert the discussion in the chat to something else, right? So flat earthers will show up and we'll start arguing, hey, everything is about flat earth. People will start bringing up political issues, and we're discussing a topic, right? We're discussing issues. And there are people who try to divert them. No one's stopping you from talking about those things, but go somewhere where they're discussing those things. If we're sitting here talking about, whether Muhammad's a prophet, and you're over in the comments section trying to prove that the earth is flat or something like that, no one's stopping you from doing that, but do it somewhere where that's actually the topic. So what you're asking is, why would you be banned for trying to divert the discussion over to what you want to talk about? I hope when you hear it like that, you can understand the answer, right? If everyone's over in the chat trying to divert the discussion to some other topics, then no one's actually paying attention. And what's the point of even having the discussion if no one's paying attention because they're talking about other things? So if you are diverting to any topic, and it doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter what you're trying to divert it to, then you're going to have to be blocked from this discussion for that. Keep in mind, guys, there's a difference between stopping your free speech and blocking you from a discussion that you're interrupting, right? In the United States, we have protected free speech. That doesn't mean you get to come into my room and scream in my ear all you want. You can't say, oh, I'm screaming in your ear in your house because it's freedom of speech. No, that's a separate issue, right? No one's going to stop you from stating your positions in certain places, in public, on the streets, in public parks, things like that. So no one's stopping you from saying your positions on YouTube, Facebook, out in the parks, wherever you want. This area, it's like our house, and we're inviting people to the house to have a discussion and thing, and you're coming in and trying to divert the discussion to what you want to talk about. No, you can't do it. So that's a different issue. Try again, but don't do that again, or I'm going to block you again.